Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second calculated throwdown of NGS Season 8. I'm Ektar, and I'm joined for the first time by the one and only B Metaho. How are you doing this evening, B?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Excited to see the face-off between two of the great calculated throw teams.
As
How are you
am
doing?
I. I'm excited. I know that both these teams have been in and around NGS for a very long time, and it's always really interesting to see teams that are of the same suite of teams play off against each other, because you know that they know each other pretty well and have that inside information. We have calculated throw Hanamura Drift, and we have 2Calculated2Throw tonight. Which are the number 4 and number 8 seeds respectively, as we're going to go ahead and get into the draft for game number 1. You probably already saw it on the main menu, but in case you weren't paying attention or you got here in the last 4 seconds, how we got to Volskaya Foundry. The coin toss was won by Hanamura Drift and opted for first hero pick. 2Calculated2Throw banned out Sky Temple and Battlefield of Eternity. Hanamura Drift banning out Infernal Shrines and Brax's Holdout. And 2Calculated picked us to Volskaya.
Personally am a big fan of this map. I can't wait to see what the two teams try to.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how these teams try to counter each other's strategies. In particular, Hanamura Drift plays very similarly every game. Of the, I think, 14 games they've played Jaina in 10 of them. They played Tyrande in almost as many matches. ETC and Chen, I believe they played 7 or 8 each. They've played Jaina, Tyrande, ETC, Chen in several of their games. They have a very standard lineup that they like to go to, and it's not hard to scout out. So I'd like to see what 2Calculated are going to be able to do to kind of throw them off the rhythm.
Well, I see with the first ban we already had a target ban coming, and obviously the Deathwing ban because people don't seem to deal with him. But I know for a fact Jurg really enjoys playing Kael'thas.
Well, Hanamura Drift have played, I think, 4 games of Deathwing, and they've found decent success with it, so just not wanting to deal with that ostensibly overpowered hero, and also it's something that they've shown that they like to do, so it makes a lot of sense, and so does the Johanna ban, being top 2 most played heroes in the entirety of Heroes of the Storm, although I think ETC is actually starting to see some more play because Johanna's just getting straight out banned.
Yeah, it would make sense because she has it all. She has CC, she has whip, decent body blocker.
Yeah.
Just a solid hero and a good tank. Easy to play.
And there's the Tyrande ban, which is not a surprise. Given that she is banned out, I would not be surprised if we saw an early Ana pick coming out from the side of Hanamura Drift, as that is their second most played healer by a significant margin, and there it is. Night is very proficient at landing those healing darts.
Are they just, I'm not too familiar with them. Are they proficient at landing the sleep darts just as well? Look, because sleep darts can be great setups or even denies. Different, she can either sleep somebody so her team has time to get on them, or sleep them so they can't help their other teammates.
In the games that I saw, I hadn't noticed particularly amazing healing dart setups, but I haven't actually watched a whole ton of their games, so I could just not have been paying very close attention. And then we have the Rexar and Ariel getting picked up on the side of 2Calculated. Ariel is considered really overpowered right now. Making it through the first ban phase is a little bit of a surprise, so I'd love to see Galderus show us exactly why that Ariel gets banned out so often.
One quick question. You're probably more familiar with supports than I am. If Ariel resurrects Rexar, does Misha automatically get resurrected?
I haven't done it, but I would expect that would be the case, because
she kind of has her own death timer if Rexar is alive.
It's true, but I believe anytime Rexar respawns, so does Misha, but I could be incorrect about that. It'd be interesting to actually see, and I hope now that we do. We did have the Jaina and Chen getting picked up, very standard pickups coming up from the side of Hanamura Drift. We saw the ETC getting banned out, which is fantastic, because it gets rid of the last really big comfort pick for the side of Hanamura Drift.
Do you know if either... I'm pretty sure I know somebody on 2Calculated2Throw does play Garrosh, so I'd either expect to see the Garrosh ban here or see it taken next pick. I would think.
Instead,
Because I feel like
we had the Gul'dan ban, which is a little bit... I wouldn't say surprised. Gul'dan being banned out is never really a surprise, but it doesn't seem like a target ban. They haven't played at a ton of Gul'dan, but he is very strong on this map because it is so wave clear macro oriented.
and he's a decent Ariel batter.
Honestly, Ariel doesn't need a battery too much these days. She generates
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
she
of her
has-
own energy after the most recent rework.
Diablo. It's cool. There's some decent walls on these objectives, so that does make sense.
Yep, and they do play a decent amount of Li Ming on the side of 2Calculated, so a lot of very comfortable heroes coming out, really from both sides, it seems like.
Honestly, I personally consider Volskaya. I consider Li Ming to be one of the best mages on Volskaya just because the objectives don't block her things, and it's kind of a sustained pokey fight for most teams. There's the Garrosh coming out. But I really do think this is Li Ming's best map, or one of them.
So the Garrosh is not a big surprise. He's their second most played tank, but the Maiev I think is a little bit spicy. I've seen CM Shives play the Maiev a couple times before, and it's always really interesting, and I think she's fantastic on this map just because it is a nice, fight over the point everyone kind of a map, and Maiev can do a lot of work in those kinds of situations, especially with that Warden's Cage once 10s come online.
And also, Rexar gives more of a chance for her getting knife resets, so that's good. Though Zul'jin is, in my opinion, very good into Garrosh.
And Chen, honestly.
Yeah. But especially because of the armor cut through that he can get, like, if people go that, it, like, melts Garrosh.
Yeah, so I rather like both of these team setups. I think personally I would give it to Hanamura Drift if for no other reason than the level of comfort that they've shown on all of these heroes. They've played all of them a number of times in the past, and, well, their spot in the standings is pretty decent. But what about you? What do you think of these drafts? Who wins drafting?
I personally like 2Calculated2Throw draft, or Red Team's draft a bit better. I can't really put a word on it why, just the Ariel and the Rexar and the Zul'jin and the Diablo and, like, all of it. I really like all of it, honestly.
I will say I think that Hanamura Drift have the harder comp to execute, but I think it can potentially execute to a higher potential with the Maiev especially.
I mean, Maiev, Garrosh, and Ana together are all really scary, plus the Jaina damage. Like, if somebody gets thrown or slept, they're probably not fully getting out alive. It's like Diablo or the bear.
Alrighty, and we have spawning in the blue trunks on the left-hand side, Calculated2Throw Hanamura Drift with Night Knight playing the Ana, CM Shives playing Maiev, Brickhouse playing Jaina, Genzor's playing the Garrosh, and Dianalor playing the Gentleman.
And on the side of the red team, we have 2Calculated2Throw with Fear on Zul'jin, Chair Glue on Rexar, Jurgenderb or Jurgs on Li Ming, Gald, I'm calling them Gald on Ariel, and X Havoc on Diablo.
So checking out the level 1 talents on both sides, does anything stand out to you in particular?
I have not looked at talents yet, so I should probably do that.
I will say I have not seen Righteous Assault taken on Ariel basically ever. Most people go into the faster Q speed so that they can get in and get out a little bit more quickly. Nice whip coming out there onto Genzor's. And the other one I find a little surprising is the Sleep Dart getting picked up on level 1 by Ana. I've never seen that taken outside of Brawl, honestly.
The ones I'm most surprised about are probably also the Sleep Dart one, but doubles do. I don't really consider that the one I see much anymore. I see the other two much more often nowadays, I think.
I see
not that it's a bad talent.
I think that's a preference for my team. Ooh, Fear not quite getting caught by that Umbral Vine. It's going to land on a Havoc instead, but he's got the health pool that he'll be able to walk away pretty decently. We have both of the solo laners doing what they can to try and double soak as that skirmish was happening in the area between mid and top lane, but they're both
Chen is gonna Rexar is gonna be much more successful with that because of his level 1 Bird of Prey really increases Rexar's wave clear, honestly. Misha being able to zone.
Yeah, we do have the first set of camps being picked up on the left-hand side by Hanamura Drift. They get in there just a little bit faster than 2Calculated, but they are on there pretty quick after the fact. Actually missing that arcane orb, shooting it right between the two camp minions, but not going to have too much of an impact on their ability to actually finish that out.
Also, it seems that Hanamura Throw has a bit more knowledge on how to actually get the turrets. I just saw they were killing the turret before the heal minion on two seconds. So there's a Li Ming in big trouble. She barely gets out with 100 health there.
And honestly, that wasn't even much of a commitment from Shives. That was just him going in there to try and get a nice little Umbral Bind stack. If he can kill someone or do some decent damage, that's just gravy at this point, honestly.
Very nice sleep if they, like he doesn't get some stuff in that little engage.
And it looks like we're having Orb build coming out from Li Ming, which has been actually more and more popular recently. You don't see as much Calamity as you used to in the past, as people favor being able to just consistently lob out orbs on all of these point control maps. CM Shives goes in, actually pops the Umbral Bind because of the Shadow Charge, but only gets the one, doesn't actually land onto a second person.
Who has the turret for... Okay, Ariel and Maiev have the turret right now.
Yes, and we see now the camp being picked up on the left-hand side, but this is giving opportunity for 2Calculated to try and make a play for the biotic emitter. Genzor is still scouted out, but just a Garrosh kind of can't step into that. We saw both of the soul laners actually taking quite a bit of damage off of each other. Cherglu is actually opting to go all the way back, as Janalor is instead just going to tap and try to make a little bit of extra soak happen, as we do see about a quarter of a level lead on the side of 2Calculated at this point.
Diablo auto attack build? But I'm finally looking at level 4.
Yeah, I do not see the Soul Leech very often. That is a lot of damage actually coming out onto X-Havoc. The grenade is going to make it so that he cannot get healed by Geldris. He does drop the bionic emitter, isn't going to save him, but it does stop the opposing team from getting control of it, which is...
Yeah, it's better to drop it than die with it.
Yeah. And it looks like we got a little bit of a gank attack coming out into the bottom lane. Rexar taking a little bit of damage. The Umbral Bind does get popped, and that's almost certainly going to secure the kill out onto him. So a nice 2-for-0 going out in favor of Hanamura Drift, as we see 2Calculated giving up position to take their own camp, as they know that they can't actually engage until they have all 5 members up.
Which I don't think that's really going to happen in time. Like, Rexar's up in 5, but I don't think they can. I mean, maybe they can, but they're even talents, even turrets, and they...
Had X-Havoc going for a little bit of engage attempt onto Dianalor, did some damage, but not quite enough, and they were still 4v5 at that point. We do see the turret getting put down for the side of Hanamura Drift, as Shives is going into the back line, actually only gets the chain out onto Fear, and is going to maybe trade the life away for the attempt out onto him. We do see...
Oh, Fear not instead. Shives is
the dies.
Eric's is really low, too.
Yeah, and Shives is going to be able to come back in as soon as they get tapped up a little bit. We do see the charge combo coming out onto Genzor, but that is the second kill now going out onto Li Ming. X-Havoc is going to be the third to go down. Misha is the next quarter, and that is going to be the first objective going out in favor of Hanamura Drift. On the plus side, at the very least, 2Calculated did have a camp going in the top lane. It's actually still doing some damage in the top lane, so it's not pushed out in favor of Hanamura Drift, so they're going to have to take a little bit more damage as they try to go in to get the well in the top lane.
That Li Ming kill was because of strike damage, 8 over.
That feels bad. We actually see full Sleep Dart build coming out from the side of the Ana, so going into that Night Terror so they can get that 10% max damage done, which, on a big body like Diablo can be really significant. Shives going in to try and get another stack of that Umbral Bind is almost punished by Havoc, but they are able to get away with the Vault of the Wardens.
Yeah, Maiev she's pretty strong when she has her cooldowns up, but when she uses them accidentally, that can be bad. But from what I've seen this match, Shives seems pretty good about knowing when their cooldowns are usable.
Yeah, we didn't actually see them get the well in the top lane, in part because they didn't have minions there to actually help them, because 2Calculated had gotten that camp at such a late time, had that lane pushed out. They might be able to make a rotation to go up to the top lane so that they can secure that well for the second objective, but as of yet, it looks like that just kind of gained them about a half a level over their opponents, because they were behind in XP before the objective phase started.
Yeah, then they got a bunch of kills and soaked mid.
Yeah. Getting a bunch of kills is the best way to get XP these days in Heroes of the Storm. We do have the level 10s getting picked up from both sides. We've got the Taz Dingo. We're not seeing the Resurrect coming out from Oriel. Crystal Age is still a good ult. We do have the Angry Huffers coming out from Rexar. We've Apocalypse, and we've got the what the hell is it called? Wave of Force. I always want to say Force Palm.
I mean, same thing. We have well, Wave of Force actually might be pretty good for interrupting, like at least Chen. That might be dangerous for Chen to pay attention.
We did have a huge Vault of the Wardens combo into... Sorry, not Vault of...
I was not looking top.
Yeah, Warden's Cage. There we go. Had a huge Warden's Cage and Blizzard Ring combo coming out from the side of Hanamura Drift, getting a 3-for-0 trade. Actually, we do not have Ring. We have Water Elemental. I'm genuinely surprised about the Water Elemental. It pairs very well into Warden's Cage.
Maybe they feel they don't need it and prefer the damage.
I guess, but I mean, it worked really well for them. They had just a whole bunch of circles that they threw inside of that octagon, and it worked out really well for them. But continuing with the ults, we do have Storm, Earth, and Fire. We do have the Warlord's Challenge Nano Boost, which was also used during that combo. It was very well executed. The Water Elemental, as mentioned, and Warden's Cage.
I think they heard your response to me asking about the sleep darts and decided to go sleep dart up something.
It's not bad. It's just unusual.
Never seen anybody go it before.
I've seen it. You could put bigger grenades and cover basically the entire interior of the Warden's Cage. But it does do a really good job of just chunking out damage over time with that 10%.
Don't need the block heals if Ariel is taunted.
Also true. We do have the second objective phase coming up, and it looks like 13s are already picked up on the side of Hanamura Drift. We have Cherryglue still in the bottom lane trying to work through that XP differential. It looks like 2Calculated really not inclined to go out onto the top lane until they can level that 13 disparity.
I kind of want to see them invade the turret camp while they know everybody's...
Honestly, yeah, they see 5 people in the top lane. Might as well walk over and collect your opponents.
Also, who do you think is the nano boost target in these fights? Yeah, okay, yep.
110% Jaina.
Don't think Maya might get value sometime?
She certainly does get value, but the whole point of what they're trying to do is blow the opposing team up, and Jaina is maybe the best single hero at blowing up an opposing team in the game.
That's fair. I just thought I'd get like an opinion.
There's certainly...
We have 2
turrets. A little bit of Dianelor getting caught out. Are going to have to pop the stagger to try and walk away from that. Cherryglue actually gets put into a really bad position that gets followed up on by the Warlord's Challenge. We have the counter-engage Apocalypse hitting a bunch of people. Galder is doing what they can to try and keep people topped up, but the Gladic Grenade actually doing quite a bit of damage. Cherryglue is able to walk away, but the same cannot be said of Zul'jin, even dying through that Tazdingo. And that is going to be just the 1-for-0, but it's 1-for-0 when the opposing team already has 81% out onto the objective. So this is certainly going to be the second objective going in favor of Calculated Throw, Hanamura Drift. Ooh, X-Havoc putting themselves into a position to just get launched by Garrosh is going to get followed up by CM Shives, and X-Havoc is going to go down, and that's a Souls reset.
Yeah. That actually wasn't just a 1-for-0, it was a 1, now a 2 and 2 turrets for nothing.
Yeah, so
they had 2 turrets and they lost both of them during that fight.
Opting not to take the top fort at all and going immediately into the bottom lane, this is definitely going to set them up well for the third objective. And considering the level lead that they have, a soulless Diablo, they're probably going to be able to get the entirety of the fort, not just the front wall and the well that you tend to see.
Zul'jin's still mid, so he's not stacking off or helping Brandon.
A little bit of a stack coming out of the Misha, not a whole lot to be done from that, but they are definitely engaging hard onto this bottom fort, and it is certainly going to go down. Cherryglue standing a little bit too far forward. Dianelor notices and jumps on him. He is starting to be able to walk away. Shive's actually getting kind of low. But that is the fort going in favor of Hanamura Drift. It looks like 2Calculated are looking to see what they can off this engage. X-Havoc, anticipating the Triglav falling just a little bit sooner than it did, is going to pop that APOC. Doesn't find any purchase with it. But, I mean, it's a long cooldown that he popped for nothing, but if they don't have a team fight in the next 70 seconds, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. Or if there was a use for it, then that would be the issue, but it doesn't. It looks like they're probably going to try and avoid a fight because 16s are coming up for Hanamura Drift. They're still at the beginning of level 50.
And that 16 is going to find another biotic emitter going in favor of Hanamura Drift. 2Calculated does pick up a turret, but a turret is not as good as a biotic emitter no matter what way you slice it.
They're all sharking around, making sure nobody's trying to steal their turret again.
Yeah, and the rest of the team just kind of pathing nice and safe towards the turret. They're actually going to go make sure that they can pick up the bottom lane XP before going out onto the turret, and I like this call a lot. The thing that they have going for them the most, other than having 10 kills to 0, is the fact that they're ahead in XP, and you don't want to see them throw that away by just not soaking bot lane.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for an XP lead to become XP even and then XP behind.
I would have liked to have seen Genzor's turn around and toss that Misha, see if they can get a stun kill out onto her. It's not a lot, but it's a quarter of a hero kill, and it makes Rexar useless for 30 seconds.
Is it a quarter?
Yeah.
I thought it was a half.
I'm pretty sure it's a quarter. Let's check the deaths.
Nope.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
We'll find out the next time Misha dies. I'm pretty sure it's the same as Viking, though.
Possibly. I wouldn't know. I don't play Rexar, but...
Yeah, me either. We do have the camp that is opting not to be capped immediately for the side of Hanamura Drift.
This might be dangerous.
I think that's a smart play from them. They want to clear the camp in the top lane before capping their own so that it can push during the objective phase, unless it gets scouted by Hanamura Drift. That would be very scary.
Yeah, that's why I meant that's dangerous.
Actually, a lot of damage coming out between Fear and Jürgenderb there, putting Genzor's pretty decently low. But it looks like they're going to try and jump out onto Cheridlu. That is the stun. He does pop the stasis, but they do still end up going down. It actually looked like he canceled the stasis early with that Feign Death.
I like the Garrosh throw there. Giving him the Diablo a little farther away and also putting him in position to stun both him and Zul'jin.
Yeah, and Zul'jin went down without having the opportunity to pop the Taz Dingo. Maybe wanting to keep it available for the next objective fight.
I mean,
and if that was the case, I think it's a decent call, because, yeah, it's a 90-second cooldown, and they're going to want to have that available for taking the fight in the bottom lane.
Yeah, but he's not going to be up for another 20 seconds anyways. It would have been halfway up by now. Even if he had survived. Yeah. Yeah, Garrosh is running. They can tell Jaina's that was a big call. That maybe it might not have been fast enough.
We have a big Warden's Cage coming out, actually only securing the kill under the Diablo. But that was a really good time to pop that cage because it gave time for the rest of Hanamura Drift to actually make it to that team fight and make it into one that was favored for them. It was a 3v3 at the start of that fight, but the Warden's Cage made it so that there was time for it to become a 4v3.
Yeah, and the kill on Diablo is huge because, I mean, like, he still has his 71 souls, but he's basically their main frontline. Like, Misha's the only other frontline they have. I wouldn't call Rexar explicitly frontline. Only Diablo and Misha.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's still 12 seconds till Diablo gets back, plus the time that's going to take him to get here. Oh, don't go in here, Fear.
Oh,
no. That's not what you like to see. That is going to be Fear. He does get cleansed, but that is going to be... I said the voodoo shuffle, but that is going to be him popping the Taz Dingo and then going down. Just standing a little bit too far forward and allowing Genzor's to just walk up and reposition him.
These gleaming orbs are kind of scary for the Ana. That looks a little too close for comfort.
At least they do have the orb build gleaming, which can do a lot of value against the Triglav Protector because it's got a gigantic hurt box and doesn't move especially quick. So if the Leeming can get just orb after orb out onto the Triglav, they can chunk it pretty hard. They might be able to save their keep here.
We have 20s, though, for Hanamura Drift, so this actually is looking pretty... Like, if they don't manage to... If they die, this is definitely game. Like,
yeah, they have to not let people die here to make this core defense. It looks like they're not probably going to be able to keep that keep alive, but they can not lose the game, and that's obviously the most important. Shives does go in for an engagement onto Jürgenderb. Doesn't get the pull from the Umbral Bind, and Jürgenderb is going to be able to walk away. So Shives gets brought down very low, does drop their Batic emitter. The APOC came out, I don't think it actually hit anybody. But we still see Hanamura Drift trying to come in here for an engagement. Galderis did pop a big heal to keep themselves alive until the Crystal Aegis went down. We had a 1-for-1 kill with the Maiev going down. We do have
First
the
kill of the
nano-boosted Brick House is able to get the kill on Diablo. He is coming back, making it a 4v4, but it's like a 3.5 against 4 because Diablo without souls is pretty weak, but that is a successful core defense from the side of 2Calculated.
And halfway to level 20.
That is going to be a big kill if they're able to finish it out, and it looks like they'll be able to. That might be the room that Hanamura Drift needs to actually push in and kill the core.
I still have 2 turrets, and Jaina damage is pretty...
Yeah, it's
Water Ellie's up
really
in
scary
5.
for the side of 2Calculated. Actually, they're putting in quite a bit of work with these long-range orbs. Dianlo are getting put down pretty low, and they don't have Storm, Earth, and Fire to actually keep themselves alive after that stagger damage. Fear's putting in some decent work, too, chasing Dianlo down. As long as they're not able to turn this around, Dianlo are surviving with under 100 hit points, but Fear, you gotta watch out, man. If Genzoros decides to turn around and throw you, you could easily find yourself dying after that.
Does have Tazdingo, but I don't think he'd be able to get out either. He could definitely get the kill, but it would be a 1-for-1.
So speaking of the level 20s, like you said, we have them picked up. We have the Elemental Conduit from the Chen, the Titanic Might from Garrosh. We have the Nano Infusion coming out from Ana, so maybe going to see her throwing that out onto Maiev more often so you can get that healing off. We do have the Winter Mute coming out from the Jaina, and Shadow Orb Vengeance, so they can reset the cooldown on their Spirit of Vengeance.
That's the little walk shadow thing, right?
Yes, it is. We do have the level 20s now getting picked up for the side of 2Calculated2Throw as well. We've got Talrash's Elements. We've got, I believe that's the Lord of Terror. We've got Kill Command, which is the root out. Oh, big throw coming out onto 2. That is going to be Fear going down almost certainly if they can't get that toss tank out. They do get it popped. Not going to be able to walk away almost certainly. They pop the Forest Medicine so they can try and get that extra healing out there, but that was not anywhere near enough. X-Havoc is going to be the next to go down. Galderis is probably going to go down because of that Umbral Bind as well. Cherglue not able to provide very much healing just with the throwing the bird, and that is certainly going to be the kill going out onto Galderis, and probably going to be game. Night can probably top everyone up and finish through the bottom lane.
Yeah, I don't see how this isn't game unless Leeman gets some like god tier orb boost.
Yeah, if they can find a... Oh,
like
that was a good one. If they can get an orb out of the Night or Brick House, they might be able to make this a successful core defense. Li Ming, you know, she can do some work when your team is this low. Night is going to have to do some serious healing work to make sure that doesn't happen, but it looks like they're deciding to just back off and take
just get their turret and get points and be good. I guess Chen's going to solo the top fine as long as the rest of his team doesn't feed while he's doing.
And it looks like Hanamura Drift are saying, you know what, we don't need top fort. It doesn't do anything for us at this point, so we're just going to kind of ignore it. Shives is going to go and clear that camp. I would have liked to see them actually go in and get the turret rather than defending this fort. This fort doesn't matter at this point in the game. It doesn't do anything, really.
They, like, even if somehow 2Calculated2Throw managed to get the protector, they couldn't really end through top, really. Diablo diving pretty deep. Doesn't have more than half of his. Yeah.
Yep, that was
a little deep.
That was
Ariel wasn't there.
Nice 100 to death combo coming out from the side of Hanamura Drift. Yeah, and this is why you typically don't see Garrosh picked into, or rather Diablo picked into Garrosh, because Diablo goes in and Garrosh just kind of puts him in even further and then he dies. Fear getting tossed out next does have the Taz Dingo. They'll be able to pop that to keep themselves alive for just a little bit, but honestly should probably just stop and auto attack because they don't likely get out of here alive even with that Taz Dingo. Good healing coming out from Galderis. That level 16 talent is starting to put in some significant work. They have 13 stacks of Reservoir, which is pretty big. They were able to keep him alive, but gotta ask the caster question of at what cost.
I mean, Li Ming was giving Ariel lots of energy too, so that helps a lot with Fear alive.
Honestly, at this point in the game, you typically don't have trouble generating energy, it's spending it. Like, it's not uncommon for Ariel to have a full bar during a team fight and just be waiting for cooldown on her heal.
I mean, she has oh, okay, I get what you mean. Isn't it like a 3-second cooldown or something?
It's a 4-second cooldown, but it feels so long during team fights because it's your only ability to heal your team. That is Galderis getting chunked really hard. Huge Reservoir is actually going to get her almost completely topped back up the rest of the way. Charitable gets brought down pretty low, but this is the power of that Reservoir of Hope, just putting out huge heals over and over and over again. We do have X-Havoc get killed in the backline as he does get solo caged. A lot of damage coming out from the Leeming onto the Protector base. Still pretty healthy, and the core is starting to fall pretty darn fast on the side of 2Calculated2Throw, and it looks like game number 1 is going to go in favor of Calculated2Throw Hanamura Drift.
Oh, you won the prediction.
Damn straight.
They did seem pretty comfortable on that, and like Shiv's Maiev was pretty. I'm very impressed. I'd definitely ban that Maiev if I was facing it.
Yep, it put in some pretty significant work. Honestly, the Jaina maybe put in even more work, looking at the stats. She did do more damage, but it could definitely be argued that Shives on that Maiev set up the damage that was coming out from Brickhouse.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say anybody did like I wouldn't say they did poorly, but like Maiev was the flashier play is more what I. Yeah.
Definitely
isn't necessarily.
Although Shives was the only person on their team to take a death in game number 1, so
Classical feeding.
Take that for what it's worth.
Do we know who's going to be taking map pick?
I do not yet.
Okay.
Gonna get tabbed out and update our overlay provided by the one and only 7th Ace. Recently updated so that it's more functional, and I actually never put map bans in, so when I mentioned before, if you don't know how we got there, you actually didn't, and that's entirely my fault. So let's just update this here overlay, because I do this on a weekly basis and know how I'm supposed to be running things, and totally not a shit show at all.
I mean, if you need any help setting up stuff, you know, I'm here to help them, co-caster.
No. Alright, we have first hero pick chosen from the side of 2Calculated, so we're going to find out where we're going for game number 2.
I'm excited to see where they decide to take us. Or get. Did they decide whether they're taking map or first pick to calculate it to?
2Calculated are going to go for first hero pick.
It'll be Hanamura Drift deciding their map. That sounds kind of dangerous.
Alrighty, we're going to go to Cursed Hollow for game number 2. As chosen by Calculated2Throw Hanamura Drift.
Ooh, spicy. Lots of options there. I mean, you said they seem to stick to the same team comps, but that's... I wonder if it'll work the same way with a larger map, because I know Volsky is definitely a very smallish.
Yeah, this is a very different map. Tends to force a different style of draft. Just because the lanes are so far apart, you tend to have a traditional solo laner and then another hero that can exist in the solo lane. So you tend to see like a normal bruiser and then maybe a Phoenix or a Falstad or something that can, you know, be an assassin but also survive in the solo lane.
But because of also the layout of this map and how big it is and the type of objective it has, there's also room for some spice.
Also very true. In fact, I think this would be another good Deathwing map.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll see it, but I would like to see it.
That's what I'm wondering, because I know we saw a Deathwing ban from 2Calculated2Throw last game.
Yes.
You said they were probably targeting Hanamura Drift because they know that they play Deathwing in RDC. And I'm wondering if they might not ban it purposely this time to try and get it first pick. Maybe see a different type of ban like a Grand Rain or Tychus instead if they're hoping to get it first pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely.
Or they could take the Grand Main first.
definitely 2Calculated is the harder team to try and do target bans against. They have a much bigger hero pool this season, having played 34 heroes compared to Hanamura Drift's only 22 heroes, so more than 50% more heroes played by 2Calculated2Throw. Let's hopefully be able to see what kind of depth that they can bring into this game number 2, as we are going to be waiting just a minute as some of the members are opting for a bio break between games 1 and 2.
Makes sense. Yeah, that would smart to do it between games instead of being shoot, need to go.
Are you telling me you've never taken a bio break during a death?
Not during an NGS match, no.
That's fair. I will say my first season of NGS, I had a caster take a bio break mid-game.
Sometimes the biology comes to you, you know?
Yep.
But yeah. I'm excited to see what we might see here. I'm really hoping for some more spicy picks instead of just meta, but you never know.
I mean,
this is Div C, so it's
the
possible.
meta for a reason, though.
What's the reason?
Because it works on average.
It's a good way to describe it.
I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more spice coming out.
At least a false. I want to see a false stud at least.
Falstad's not spicy.
I know, but he's less meta than the average hero.
Not on this map, I don't feel like. I want to see an Abathur.
I see Dahaka way more often than I see Falstad, to be honest.
That's
but
fair.
I honestly think Falstad's better than Dahaka.
I might just be biased because Falstad's one of the few ranged assassins that I actually play as a healer main.
That makes sense. I can't play Falstad. Only Sylve for range. Maybe Junkrat.
Okay. I play Falstad almost exclusively because Gust is a fun ultimate.
I mean, I like lightning build. I hate playing into lightning build, but bribe and then all the lightning talents are just still Gust probably, but
yeah, I haven't liked Hinterland's Blast since it was called Shock and Awe.
It used to be called that. Wow,
it did back in the beta.
Huh. I never played back then, but yeah. Looks like people are ready, so I guess we'll be starting soon. Mona making a joke in the chat that Garrosh and Jaina are such good friends together. Like on the same team. They do work well together in the team comp.
Saphir had a request for random jokes. Unfortunately, I didn't finish typing out my joke in time, and because we're spectators and not referees, I can't finish it, so they're just never going to get the punchline.
You could say it when we get back from the game.
I could. It's more fun not to.
What was the joke? I didn't even see it.
You know, we're just going to have to leave that for during the drafting lobby of game number 3, as we are in the drafting lobby. 2Calculated2Throw opting for hero pick. Let's see what kind of things that they want to pick up early.
What do you think there might
be?
Do you think we might see any specific target bans after last game, like changes?
I would like to see a Jaina ban. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Maiev ban.
Honestly, I think I'd do the Garrosh ban over the Jaina. Oh, well, there you go. But I don't think it was the Jaina so much as followed up by the Jaina.
I don't know. Jaina was following up on everything. She followed up on Garrosh throws. She followed up on Maiev pulls. She followed up on Warden's Cage.
Yeah, but you can do that with a lot of mages. Like, Jaina's not a special mage.
She's not special, but she has the strongest ability to just do damage to a hero that's standing in one place. And oh my gosh, thank you so much, Nexus Gaming Series, for the raid of 17 people. I don't know if I've ever been raided before, so I appreciate it, everybody. Welcome. We're in here for a calculated throwdown, as Calculated Throw, Hanamura Drift are facing up against 2Calculated2Throw. Calculated team kills.
Are all three of the Calculated Throw teams in the same division?
They are. Calculated East. So we had the Kel'Thas band coming out. That's not something we had in the previous game, either banned or picked, but he is good on a map like this where people have to just kind of stand and fight over a small point. To be
also,
fair, he would have
Yerds
been
is
good on
known for
Skya.
being really fond and strong. Really fond of and strong with Kel'Thas.
And it looks like opting not to try and grab that Deathwing with their first pick, so Not going that spicy. Oh, we've got the
I like
Johanna man.
leaving. Like I think I'm more fond of it when I see teams like leave him up, but like first pick a gray main. Like we dare you to take.
Sharing is
If they're not,
caring.
but I want to see what they decide to go. Wondering.
Thank you
Will we
for the
see a
sub, Green Knight.
Garrosh again this match?
I would like to see Garrosh. It worked out really well, but actually opting to pick up the Ana away from Night Knight. So, given that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised to see Night Knight pick up the Tyrande this round. She's really good on this map.
Do you think if she doesn't, they'd ban it? It might ban the Maiev if that's left up. They could. No, these teams way better than I do. It appears.
I mean, honestly, Calculated Throw Hanamura Drift might be the easiest team to scout in the entirety of NGS because they play so consistently.
The Li Ming swap sides this time.
It's true, but she is up there on their list of played heroes pretty decently.
Okay. Wonder what yours will take. Gul'dan's, if they're still planning on going mages. I know Gul'dan's still up.
Orphan's
like
still up, but she's probably the least popular of the mages.
There's Gul'dan.
And Garrosh, so it looks like 2Calculated2Throw has said, we like your team comp, I think I'll take it. Going into this game number 2, seeing if they can pull us to a game number 3. So given that 2Calculated are playing Hanamura Drift's basically previous draft, what do you think we're going to see from the ban?
I don't think we're gonna see a Maiev ban unless it's from 2Calculated2Throw.
I tend to agree.
I'm wondering what tank. There's a false side ban that makes sense, but I'm wondering if they're gonna try and ban another tank like ETC, or if not, maybe.
They should ban ETC.
Mm.
They've already got Garrosh, which is their next most played tank. Johanna is banned out by them. I think ETC is the ban coming out from the side of 2Calculated right now.
Yeah, just because probably is ETC, but there's other tanks out there like Mirrodin and stuff. But it's probably ETC.
It's true, but
Yeah.
ETC and Johanna are just so good, and they're already banned out, and they've got their next most common tank. So we're going to have to see Hanamura Drift go into something that they just don't do as often. And I'm excited by that.
Yeah. On comfort pick. See how they handle it.
Li Ming very strong in this map because there's so many walls she can just be safe behind.
Yeah. Or on the objective and stuff. She can easily poke from a distance. This is the Chen and Maiev again from last.
Yep.
Not surprising. They played both of them played well last on their respective heroes, and neither were banned or stolen.
It's true. I think they maybe would have been better off banning Maiev over Deathwing, but that's debatable. Deathwing is so strong right now, and Maiev, in theory, if you play well, she can't get a ton of value, but if Maiev outplays you by a little bit, she can get a lot of value. We actually have Dahaka coming out, which is great for the off lane, and Junkrat is actually really good at disrupting. Can drop that concussive grenade or concussive mine into the Warden's cage and knock everyone away, so a decent counter-engage strategy coming up from the side of 2Calculated2Throw, and we have the Anubarak getting picked up by Hanamura Drift.
I also really like Junkrat because he can help keep Li Ming from like flanking a bit. Yeah, she can flank and throw orbs a bit from an angle. Junkrat can really help with keeping her warded off from trying to do that.
Yeah, plus he can stall out a point basically forever if he has the room to maneuver.
Yeah, as long as people aren't body blocking for the other person. And he spaces his stuff out, yeah. I am curious to see what, like, I assume it's Cocoon, but I've seen some pretty decent All-Rock players go the other way. And Cocoon can also really turn her down around. And if we actually see, if Cocoon and Containment Disc, though, imagine.
So the thing that I'm worried about for the side of 2Calculated2Throw is the fact that Hanamura Drift has both a Chan and a Nubrak, and Ana is weak to dive. So we'll have to see how they manage their positioning around that. But we have spawning on the left-hand side in the blue trunks once again. The victors of game number 1, Calculated Throw Hanamura Drift, with Night Knight playing the Tyrande, CM Shives playing the Maiev, Genzors the Anubarak, Brickhouse playing the B-Step Li Ming, and Deanalor playing the Gentleman.
And on the red side, we also have a B-Step Ana played by Gald on 2Calculated2Throw. Fear on the Junkrat having a taunt off with Gald. X Havoc on the Garrosh. Yergs on the Goldan. And Chair Glue on that very nice Dahak.
Slexia, thank you so much for the 69 bits. I really appreciate it. Check out the level 1 talents. It looks like Galderus does not subscribe to the Sleep Dart build the way that we saw in game number 1 coming out from Night Knight. We do actually have the Unrivaled Strength, which I don't see very often. It's almost always Q build on one from Garrosh, so I'm interested to see what he's going to be able to do out of that. Shide's going in for an early stack on that Unrobine. Actually not going into Unrobine this game. And getting a little bit punished, but X-Havoc is finding themselves kind of out of position at this point, taking slightly more damage probably than he needed to, but no one dying to the first Mayav combo is a pretty good step up in this game from game number 1.
Goldan already has 3 stacks of Echoed Corruption, make that 4, which is pretty decent for, 2 waves, I think.
Yeah.
Contact healing, you said that blow him up. Is that the new Junkrat build? Because I see people going that a lot since rework a while back.
It's not what I typically see. Fear taking a little bit of damage from a Mayav combo, but are able to just walk away. We do have the Nisha's Memento getting picked up on level 1. Rip Nisha was not able to make it out of that crumbling dungeon in Warcraft 3. Rest in peace. We have the first camp getting picked up for the side of Hanamura Drift, immediately going in and picking up the Siege Giants, doing what they can to get that extra siege pressure going out into the top lane. Unfortunately for them, the objective is spawning in the top lane, so it'll probably get cleaned up pretty easily.
I mean, it's good that they're getting it this early then, instead of trying to wait till closer.
Which
also
is
like the
what we
move
see happening on the side of 2Calculated2Throw, as X-Havoc is going to get pinged with that owl dancing in the mid lane. But we see Hanamura Drift actually with much faster time clearing that camp than their opponents, both picking up at about the 155 mark. But that'll give time for Chen to try and clear out some of that Siege Giant before the objective spawns.
Yeah, I think they should have waited on that little.
We do have the level 4s now coming in. We've got the immediate pickup of Dominance, so definitely going into, or likely going into Calamity on level 7 this time, not having the Orb build leaning.
Hero Stalker, I love this talent, especially for like team fighting. Really like helps with his team fight vulnerability, in my opinion.
I agree. I did like it in that match that we saw earlier because of how few heroes he'd have been fighting, but in a map where you have a lot of 5v5 fighting, Hero Stalker is definitely the more correct talent in most cases, I think. We do have the Bruiser camp now getting started by 2Calculated2Throw. This might make them a little late to that first objective, maybe deciding not to engage on it terribly hard. We did see a little bit of a gank attempt coming out onto Hawk in the bot lane, so maybe they actually can take position on this.
It didn't finish the camp, just left off. Like, I mean, yeah, they're now, everybody's going to be up there for the 5v5, but
Fear was able to put that trap down, and we're not able to get fully ganked by the side of Hanamura Drift. Shives is positioning very far forward, seeing what they can do. We do still have to Hawk in the bottom lane, not opting to burrow, trying to get them closer to that level 7. Hiding in the bushes so that Hanamura Drift can't actually see it, but
they get a little nervous.
Big throw coming up from Havoc, putting Janelor into a really rough spot, getting a ton of damage, but are able to stop and drink some of that stagger off. We did see Cherry Blue dig into the top lane, pop a huge bar of acid stick for themselves, nice and top back off. A lot of damage coming off from that orb out of the Gald. But the front line is a little bit stronger at this point for the side of 2Calculated2Throw. They might be able to have their beefy boy stand in front and get someone in the back to get that channel. Shive's coming in for an attempted engage, is not able to actually get it. Junkrat not popping the concussive mine, but Cherry Glue is able to finish out the kill out onto Mayav, and Dianelor is going to be the second one to go down. And this should be the first objective going in favor of 2Calculated2Throw.
And look at these camps in the other lanes. Like, mid got the gate and most of the turrets, and bot got probably about to get the gate. Yeah, it's going to get the gate in one tower. That trade was definitely in 2Calculated2Throw's favor.
And opting to leave Dahaka in the top lane, knowing that he can't rotate as quickly as Junkrat can to the bottom lane. And it'll mean
next objective's probably bottom, which it is.
It's not guaranteed to be bottom. The first two
it's more likely to, yeah,
in the same lane, but
it's unlikely.
They did, get the lucky dice roll, and it is in the bottom lane. So having Cherry Blue up here in the top lane is very beneficial for 2Calculated2Throw.
I just think more likely there's like a 60 to 70% chance that it alternates lanes because there's 6 different spots and it can never spawn in the same place twice. Only 5 potential places, 3 of which are the opposite line.
We do have Shives coming into the back line. Does get a little bit of damage out onto Geldris and X-Havoc, who threw... Garrosh did end up throwing a Nubarak kind of out onto Ana, who he did burrow out, so it ended up being kind of fine. But it could have been pretty scary if he decided to commit out onto that Ana and got thrown onto. Jurgen trying to get dove on by Genzors, but just not quite enough distance. But that is Ana going down, and that is her weakness, getting dove upon hard like that. Fear. Oh my gosh, actually got it. CM Shives just missing the Fan of Knives. They had the time, but
half
just
a
blew
second too late.
A little bit too soon, and that is going to be the second objective going out in favor of 2Calculated2Throw, even though they lost 2 heroes for it.
With the sprays by Fear.
Yeah, they're in a good mood tonight. We do have Dahaka. I don't think he ever even dug down to bot lane, so they are able to keep up almost a full level XP lead at this point. Going to give them 10s going into the next objective.
Shriek's also bottom, which is good for Dahaka being top still.
Yeah. Shives did make their way up to the top lane. We do have the 10s now getting picked up on the side of 2Calculated2Throw. We've got the Nano Boost, we've got the Rip Tire. Isolation is a little bit of a surprising pick, but if they land it onto Amaya, really shuts her down in a big way. We've got the Horrify and the Warlord's Challenge, so no terribly surprising ult pickups coming from the side of 2Calculated2Throw. We did have the camp getting picked up on the right-hand side, is going to push through the bottom lane during the objective. It's relatively close to the objective, so they can probably clear it and defend at the same time, but I would love to see 2Calculated make a very aggressive play out into this camp, because they've still got a little bit of time until Hanamura Drift actually get their level 10s coming up.
That's the owl that scouted out Garrosh.
This is not a time for Dahaka to be split out, in my opinion. He should already be down here. They want to try and get the third objective. Jurgen is going to get dove upon. Dahaka still hasn't dug down in the bottom lane. He's on the way now. A lot of damage coming up from that Rip Tire. The Horrify is going to save Gul'dan for just a little bit. Havoc is trying to get the channel out, but this time Steam Shives is going to hit that Fan of Knives. And that is the... looks like 4-0. If Cherry Blue, you got to get out of there, man. You cannot save Garrosh. You can only maybe save yourself. That is the 4-0.
I would have liked to see
Dahaka going out, and the boss, as expected, coming out now from the side of Hanamura Drift. Really well fought by them during that team fight. But don't worry, nobody saw that stun, Deanalor.
I didn't.
You got stunned by the boss.
Yeah, I was busy watching Dahaka in mid. So they're letting bot Merc get some decent value. Like that's tough.
I think it's more important to get the boss. Like at that point, the front wall had already gone down. Getting damage out onto the fort doesn't matter as long as it's still up and they can't just kind of hit for it. We do see that 2Calculated2Throw opting to pick up a Bruiser camp in that time, and it's going to be scouted by the Owl that they're not going for boss and going to make their way down for the defense here. We do have Junkrat headed towards the boss. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing right now. He's just kind of... okay, he's putting a mine trap.
Sure they don't try to take it.
But they can already see on the map that there were 4 people in the bottom lane and 1 in the mid. They knew that wasn't happening. This boss is still pretty healthy, and they're still pushing in 4 versus 3 out into this fort. I'd like to see them just try to engage. Garrosh actually throwing Shives closer into the team when they've got the Umbral Bind up. Maybe not where you want a Maiev to be, but they are out of that vault of the wardens. They're going to get some damage out on the Havoc. Junkrat just nice popping the mine and the tire in time.
That was really nice and stoppable too by Garrosh to keep him from getting boss stuff.
Not a huge fan of the Nano getting popped there, but I love this call from the side of 2Calculated2Throw saying, you know what? The front wall can finish that boss. We want to get out onto this. Objective to try and take.
Wish Dahaka had already been channeling that, to be honest.
It's true. Oop, there comes the tongue. Gonna put about half of DNLR's health down on him. Gonna drink away the rest of that stagger damage. Huge Umbral Bind coming out from the side of CM Shives. He's gonna keep 3 people in that warden's cage, and he's gonna find a very quick kill out onto the Junkrat. The total mayhem is going to do actually quite a bit of damage, but Dahaka's the next to fall. However, Shives is the next to fall after that. Havoc is not going to be able to get the interrupt, just missing the Q that would have gotten stunned on the Gensers, and they're going to give their life for the attempted interrupt.
Man, there you go.
There's just kind of a comedy of errors coming out from these channeling interrupts tonight.
Yeah, it was a little too short range a couple times in a row.
Thick thighs saves lives, so CM Shives.
Only Tyrandas, specifically Tyrandas.
Yeah. I mean, it applies pretty well across the board. Like, white main can definitely do white main things pretty well. We've got the level 10s getting picked up from both sides. We've never actually mentioned the ults by name, but at this point, if you can't figure out what they are, that's not on us. We do have the 13s now getting picked up from both sides as well. We do have the stun removal coming out from Ana. The double up, which I've never seen Garrosh take in a competitive match, so gonna use that to try and not themselves get blown up. Going full trap build from Junkrat, which I think is an interesting play on this map, and the health stone coming out from Gul'dan. Nubarak is actually holding on to their 13, however. I don't know what on 13 is so competitive that you want to hold on to it, but that's what they've been opting to do.
Acid drenched mandibles, just
already. We do in fact
basic
have
attack damage.
full teleport build coming out from the side of Leaning. Genzor is deciding that
Haka
this is the
needs
time
to
to
throw
engage
it.
as we don't have a Haka down in the bottom lane yet. Jurgenderb gets dove upon very hard, and not enough burst healing from Galderus to try and actually get the counter kill out there. Or rather,
These cocoons on the Garrosh are really hurting.
Yeah, that's the problem with having your Dahaka split out, is sometimes they can just decide, you know what, we're just going to force this engagement. We have the engage potential with the flying kick and the burrow charge, and Hanamura Drift have been getting a ton of value with just hard engaging.
And Dahaka would really help them with burning the cocoon off.
Yeah.
And I think Ana might know.
The Dark Swarm would do a lot to try and actually burn that off. We do have the leap over the wall coming out, doing some very significant damage out onto Fear. Lunar Flare is going to get the stun, and that is going to be the kill going out onto Junkrat. DNLR taking quite a bit of damage from the Total Mayhem, but, you know, he's just the 3 pandas. If you can't kill all 3 pandas, you didn't even do anything. Shives gets put really far into the backline, pops the cage as a counter engage, takes a decent amount of damage coming from Jurgenderb, but the nano boost wasn't quite there in time, and that is going to be the reason I believe that Shives is able to stay alive. As
That was close.
it was pretty close. If the nano had come out a little bit sooner, I think that Jurgenderb would have put out enough damage to kill Maiev.
Yeah.
We'd have Cherglu just kind of hiding in the top lane, waiting for...
I do think it's really smart when teams manage to do that during Curse. Like, a lot of people still get skittish about diving under forts when there's nothing to attack you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they went just under the fort anyway, just because they have the Nubarak beetles. We do see Hanamura Drift is positioning for a boss immediately. Toronto Owl just checking to make sure that there was no attempt to do a little bush party from the side of 2Calculated2Throw, who are themselves taking a bruiser camp. But this is the second time they're going to take a bruiser and their opponents are going to take a boss.
I would have preferred, like, I feel like they should have known that they were on the boss, and I would have just, yeah, like, now they're starting the boss, but that probably too late. Junkrat's still bottom, which makes me a little anxiety about their chance. When Junkrat does get there, he does have Riptire, so that might be helpful.
But this is going to be the boss evade attempt. A huge Horrify coming out from Jurgenderb, but not enough follow-up damage to actually get a lot of value out of it. And that is going to be Jurgenderb the first to fall. A lot of damage got put out onto DNLR, but they were able to drink a lot of that away. X-Havoc standing on the point versus CM Shives, but it's kind of a 1 versus 3 at this point. Gets a big throw to get people off of there, and we do have the repeated healing coming out from Ana with the active reload to keep X-Havoc alive for a very long time, but not quite long enough. As we have now the 4 kills, and that is going to be the 5th kill coming out onto Galderus. 5 for nothing. And double boss play coming out from the side of Hanamura Drift.
What do they do here? I guess they try to get the fort wall, but like Wave is still far behind. Bot still has to get wall. I guess they could use a new beetle. Mid's probably the better option than bot or end straight up.
Just use beetles to tank the keep, and they might try to end. They've got a boss going through the bottom lane. It doesn't have much health left, but Jurgenderb is very far forward and going to get engaged upon very hard. Gets blown up pretty quickly, and that is going to be Hanamura Drift looking to see if they can make an end here. They will have 4 up for 2Calculated to see if they can make this defense. A good throw from X-Havoc. and it looks like they're starting to get pushed back. The Cocoon does come out, but it's going to get popped pretty quickly by Gald. Fear gets brought down pretty low. Gonna pop the point-blank Riptire. Active Reload gets Fear popped up pretty high. Tons of damage coming out. This might be a successful core defense from the side of 2Calculated2Throw. X Havoc is actually pushing up pretty far. But I don't think they should push up any further.
40% loss on the core either way. Still doing their third keep is going to be pretty low after this. They could easily get with proper timing of things.
It looks like the boss is just going to get it anyway. That was 3 keeps and 40% for nothing.
Red team's core is under attack.
Rough spot for 2Calculated2Throw at this point.
Yeah.
They're stabilized for right now, but they're down 3 levels and importantly level 20. So it's going to be a rough game for them for a long time, but they're not dead.
Fear out.
Fear's in a rough spot. They did have the concussive mine in place to get themselves out of there.
Let me put this. Okay, yeah, the Ripper Air. It's not.
We do have Jorgenderb trying to do what they can to chunk out some damage from behind the wall in safety, but they just kind of need to play relatively safe and get level 20 and also not die. They can afford to give up another full objective because it's Cursed Hollow and the objective by itself doesn't do anything, but Hanamura Drift says, we have level 20, we're pushing in through the bottom lane, and Dahaka's not here. Let's see what we can do right now.
Yeah, he would have to Hearth too, which takes longer than just straight up bush talk.
Yeah, there's no bushes.
Bushes in core. Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to back off as we do have the objective spawning now. They do still want to get this, if for no other reason than it's going to allow their minions to get all the way up and soak that core damage for them. Again, they have a Dahaka. They can just kind of pop locusts for a while, but with as much core pressure as they have, the side of 2Calculated2Throw can't really afford to make a defense yet because they've got Katas in the bottom lane. I'm really scared for Dahaka though. Like, there's 5 people in the mid-top area. If they decide to make Dahaka die, there's not much he can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the noob flank coming. I would have just burrowed away a Hearth if I was him.
So you can't though because...
Oh, like before, like instead of trying to waddle back to his base.
If he would have started though, it would have just gotten immediately interrupted by Genzor's. I think waiting for the first set of stuns was maybe smart.
No, like before he started waddling back,
Oh,
like
okay,
when he was still like by the actual part of the
like
lane.
a really preemptive brush stock. That would have been the only way for him to get out of there, but you know, sometimes it's hard to predict what your opponents are going to do.
Yeah, fair.
They're only half a level off from 20 at this point. They might be able to hold off long enough to make a core defense, but if they see anyone out on the map right now, they can just kind of waddle in and go for core. Jorgenderb a little far forward. Genzors might look to make an engagement. Shives too, actually. Havoc is going to get... Oh, a really good Unstoppable is going to stop him from getting Cocoon. A lot of damage coming out onto Jorgenderb. X-Havoc just barely not able to stay alive, and that is going to be...
Game.
Yeah, that's game. Really well played by Calculated2Throw. Hanamura Drift taking it 2-0 over 2Calculated2Throw.
GG. That was fun to watch. Okay. I did it. Now we know who the dominant Calculated2Throw team is between these. Do you know who won the other version?
The previous match was Hanamura Drift versus Calculated2Throw, and they won that. Hanamura Drift won that one. So, Hanamura Drift currently 2-0 in the Calculated, taking out both of their brethren so far, and securing themselves as the top Calculated team among the 3, but we have yet to see who is the top between 2Calculated and Calculated2Throw. That is still pending. It's a flex match, so let me know when that gets scheduled, guys.
Yeah. So looking at stats, Dahaka got a decent amount more soak than Maev, but at the same time, like 20 kills to 5. It's a bit rough.
Yep, that was it's hard because the person you generally want to take the engages on are your tanks, but unfortunately just a little bit too much damage coming out, even for a Garrosh, is going to find him dying 6 times in that game. So
At the same time, Hanamura Drift was actually doing a decent amount less damage than 2Calculated2Throw was, but like, the kills went pretty well, looks like. But like Junkrat and Gul'dan both had almost 10k higher, well, more like 7k higher than Li Ming, which is cool.
All right, so we're gonna see if we can get an interview from Night Knight, captain of Calculated Throw Hanamura Drift.
Excited.
No response quite yet. That was it was very well played by them. They had a you can see that they had a combo that they wanted to go for, and they executed very well.
Yeah, they just Maev and then dive. Like Maev is good with dive, and Li Ming just finishes up the kills and keeps getting them.
Alrighty, I'm gonna drag us on into lobby number 1 so we can meet up with everyone. Actually, you can go to lobby 1. We can all do that.
We show up.
Yeah, there we go.
Congratulations, everybody.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, what's it? How's it feel to not only get the 2-0 domination, but to really secure yourselves as the top of the calculated teams?
Shives, that's you, brother.
I mean, I said after our first game that we were going to be the top calculated throw team this season, and now we are the CT champs.
Yep, you got the domination over both of the other calculated teams. So, looking ahead, which do you think is more likely to win the final calculated showdown, calculated throw or 2Calculated2Throw?
Hard to say. It's hard to say.
It's like choosing between your favorite kids.
You always
Just
have
I
a
guess.
favorite kid.
There is a favorite kid.
You just don't announce
You
it to
know
the
who you
public.
are if you're watching this
Yeah, you
recording.
just can't tell them.
Love you.
I think it's going to be probably 2Calculated2Throw.
I'd make the choice.
I mean,
I
I've
just
gotta
agree, Knight. I think it's calculated throw.
I've got to say, y'all's name is definitely fitting. You're the Hanamura. Electric Boogaloo, you know.
So how does one prepare to play against a team that not only do you know very well, but knows you very well? What kind of a mindset do you have to go into to playing a team that you play against?
Lots of memes.
I don't
Yeah,
know. That looked like a pretty try-hard comp from y'all. Like, Garrosh, nano-boosted Jaina Maev? That's not a meme comp.
That's what happens when they give us what we want. It's a bunch
You got to play your best
Draft
game.
It's true. We
I
mentioned
guess.
during drafting that y'all play very, very similar comps pretty much game after game. And there's like a 2, maybe 3 hero flex between each of you, but on average you play Jaina, Tyrande, etc. Chen every series. Multiple times.
I mean, you can't
Pretty
ban them
much.
all.
It's true.
They're good heroes.
If it works.
Do a lot of things well.
So, game number 1, they kind of didn't stop you from doing almost all of that. The only thing that you didn't get to do was the ETC, really. And it showed. It was a very dominating performance in game number 1. I believe 2Calculated got a single kill by the end of the game, Shives. But,
We are not talking about it.
Yeah, there's going to be disciplinary actions. I've already submitted paperwork to Night Knight to chastise Shives for feeding.
Come on, man! On my birthday, you're gonna get me off the team?
Oh, that's what your birthday present was, feeding.
yeah,
Birthday cake?
Happy
one,
birthday.
one guilt-free
Thank you.
feed.
How old did you turn?
23.
I was mostly joking, asking because I didn't think anybody would answer that. But nice. You're in 23, sounds cool.
So did anything from 2Calculated surprise you in game number 1, really? They have a much wider hero pool, so I wasn't able to necessarily identify, oh, this is a very standard comp for them. So would you say that is a pretty standard comp for them, or is it a little bit weird?
It was fairly standard.
We're expecting most of that. Actually, we're expecting Fear to go to Nara a few times.
Yeah, the whole time we wanted. Well, we were expecting Lunara.
Are you happy it wasn't?
We're also.
Yes.
Yeah, we were really happy.
We're also testing the waters if they do play Devin because they recently got like 2 new subs and we weren't sure. It looks like they didn't based on the second game draft.
Yes, and they identified that you guys have played Deathwing, so opting to ban Deathwing in game number 2. And it looked like at the start of that draft, they kind of said, you know what, Hanamura Drift had a good draft. We're just gonna take it from them. And how do you deal with that? Not only were they banning out the heroes that worked pretty well in game number 1, Maiev notwithstanding, but also taking the other heroes that they didn't ban out, kind of forcing you to go into a little bit maybe less of a familiar place.
I mean, we're practicing all of it, so we're comfortable on a lot more than what we show.
We're just. We
There's-
go back to the defaults if there's nothing to stop us. But
Reasonable.
otherwise, we have variants for each role.
I think I've played the most heroes this season, if I'm not mistaken, on the team.
I do have a question for Shots, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
I did notice you had 2 different Maiev builds between the 2 games. From what was there reasonings behind certain of your
2
talent
different
choices?
situations. I wanted to get the burst blow up against the Zul'jin so that he couldn't just watch his health go down and tear us apart. And then I wanted more camp pressure, even though I didn't really utilize the camp pressure as much on the second game.
It's cool. I was just curious. Very cool to like be able to do versatile builds for different heroes.
Oh, I have a specific question for Night Knight. What prompted the Sleep Dart build in game 1?
Before I always went the W build, but then I tried out the sleep build and I had a lot of success with it recently.
It was kind of funny for us because during draft, I asked, Hector commented that your heals were always very good on Ana. And so I asked if your sleeps were as good. And Hector was like, they didn't know because they don't pay attention to your sleeps. And then you went into the game and started going sleep build, and I thought that was kind of funny.
So you could say he slept on the sleep dart ability, huh?
So, someone asked during draft, I think it was actually on 2Calculated side, for an awkward joke, and I started typing one out but didn't get to finish, so it's going to happen now. Why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. I'm so sorry, Twitch chat, 30 seconds from now.
No, Twitch chat, that's gold right there, and you should be spamming emotes for that when you hear that, 100%.
So
Hog champs.
looking ahead for the rest of the season, what of your remaining matches, what are you looking forward to the most, do you think?
Playing the same comp.
Probably playing against Region, because they're a really good team.
Yeah, they've been doing really well this season.
We've already gotten 2 please claps. That's behind us. So.
I mean, at least y'all are honest with your plans for the game.
Yes, and I think Region is the only team that beat Please Clap so far.
How did your series versus House of Ches go, if you remember? Because they're the ones that are currently 3rd.
Goodness, I don't remember.
I think they beat us.
That's reasonable not to remember.
I think they beat us 2-1.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2-1.
Okay,
Some
so
every
pretty close.
one of our match wins have been dominations. So that's
Yeah,
track.
we've never
Oh,
won
sure.
2-1.
Yeah, it was correct. They beat us 2-1. They're a good
Alrighty.
team. They do a lot of things well.
I think that's about it for questions that I have. Beamed, do you have anything else for him?
No, I think I've asked all the ones I meant to ask or thought to ask.
All right, and I had forgotten to do this yesterday, and Regen Phoenix, I'm very sorry for that. But Hanamura Drift, do y'all have any shoutouts? I imagine that there's probably some since there's 5 of you in here.
Yes, first shout out to our coach, Drunk Draft.
Drunk,
He's-
yeah, dude.
Oh yes.
Big time.
Yes, he has helped us a lot this season, and we wouldn't be where we are without him.
We've really grown. Like when we first scrimmed against CT, they've dominated us as first.
I don't think we
were
could
trying
win a
to figure
game.
out. Yeah. But it's we've grown a lot together as a team.
Yeah. Shout outs to my teammates. Shout outs to Calculated Throw organization. Shout outs to you guys for casting us. Shout out to BMed for being a Gazlo main. And shout out to
Oh.
Mom.
Wow. I was sad nobody tried to even go any of spicy picks and laugh.
And I'm just gonna shout out Velcomer's mom because you always shout out Velcomer's mom.
Always shout out Falconer's Mom.
I want to shout out to my fam, KACAC. Love you all very much.
What's that spell?
It's my family members.
Oh. It
Doesn't
says
spell
K.
anything.
Hack.
It talks. Yeah, I get banned for saying that. You know.
If you say if you spell it backwards, it's cack still.
Whoa, it's next level. Game changing coming. Look out.
Big hearts for Drunk Dwarf in the Twitch chat. Appreciate you coming by and supporting the team that you are already supporting.
Life support.
Alrighty, thank you everyone for coming in for this interview.
Very fun.
Thank you
little
Yeah,
for
casting.
Thanks, guys, for casting.
All seem like fun people, so I hope you guys do well in the rest of the NGS season.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck again in the
Thank you
rest of your
much.
season.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Alright, BMed, it's time for the stream wrap up. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for casting. Where can people find you and what do you do?
I do nothing, and you can sometimes find me in the Discord, and you can ping me if you ever want to talk about off-meta stuff without being judgmental.
Alrighty. And you can find me also on the NGS Discord, and here very occasionally, I don't typically sign up for casts more than 2 hours ahead of time, unless it's a calculated throwdown. Again, Mystic, let me know when that's happening. And yeah, thank you all for coming by. We're going to find a channel to raid because I remembered to do that for the first time in like a month and a half.
The NGS chat rated you.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason I'm remembering. We are going to raid Bahamut Gaming as he works his way up to getting partners. So thank you all for coming by, and we will see you in the Nexus. Ready to raid in 10 seconds. You couldn't just raid immediately, huh?
Ooh.
And go.